Hello and welcome to the afternoon update from Nirmal Bank. Clearly, if you see in terms of Indian markets, the domestic indices have been trading with a slight negative bias as we speak. We've seen almost a 35 to 40 points fall in terms of a Sensex is concerned, whereas Nifty is pretty much near that 12,100 mark. In fact, markets have remained volatile and they have been constantly fluctuating between gains as well as losses, and clearly it's the broader markets which are underperforming the benchmark indices in trade. In terms of sectors, you are seeing some bit of a positive sentiment that still continues between the consumer durables as well as the IT counters, whereas if you see oil and gas, power, PSU as well as utilities, these are the ones which are trading under pressure. In fact, if you see in terms of the market breadth as well, pretty much favoring the bears in today's session, and the global cues that we've been picking up as well, that's pretty much showing a mixed trend. So clearly there is a slight bit of negative bias that does continue. In fact, if you see in terms of the morning session as well, we have seen some bit of profit booking that has come in by investors in specific sectors. So in spite of starting slightly from the positive terrain, soon the markets turned volatile and have been trading below those neutral lines. Clearly the traders have been concerned with the reports that investors have poured in nearly almost around 12,000 odd crores into the equity oriented mutual funds in 3 months ended December 2019, which is a sharp slump of almost around 50% from the preceding quarter. So that's an important point and factor that we need to watch out for. And there are worries in terms of overvaluation, as you know, the economic growth has been stuttering. So yes, stocks have been overvalued as well. Beyond that, if you see in terms of Moody's, they have gone ahead and cut the 2020 GDP growth forecast to almost 5.4% from a 6.6%. So again, that's an economic indicator which is pointing to a slightly slower economic growth and recovery as well. Moving from there on, if you see in terms of Nifty 50, again, few levels that we need to watch out for in spite it being afternoon right now, because there is a possibility that we could see fresh shorts or probably even long unwinding in case we break that 12,000 mark in trade today, because we are already at around levels of around 12,100. So pretty much we are in that catch 22 situation in terms of Nifty 50, because it's almost a spectacular 600 point rally that we've seen on Nifty 50 over the last 2 weeks. So there is a possibility that we could be giving up those gains, and a strong base has been formed around those 12,000 levels. Now if you see on the open interest side as well, Nifty 12,200 put option premium has slumped almost around 30% in trade, and there is some bit of a downside that still continues on the bank Nifty side. So there could be pressure on the financials that could continue for a third consecutive session. Let's see how the second half of the trading day pans out. In terms of individual counters, you have companies like GAIL, IndusInd Bank, TCS, HUL, Titan that continue to be the gainers today and on the buying radar. However, you have ONGC, Yes Bank, Cipla, ICICI Bank, Coal India. These are few of the Nifty losers as well. Moving on to the broader markets, you have companies like Balkrishna Industries, Muthoot Finance, Page Industries, Godrej Industries as well as Voltas, which is seeing buying interest. Whereas companies like Edelweiss, LIC Housing Finance, Sun TV, Glenmark, Castrol seeing a slump in trade. You have Bharti Airtel. In fact, that counter is trading at a 52-week high with a DRL, HCL Tech, Aegis Logistics as well as an Akzo Nobel, and companies like Coal India, ONGC, IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Corp, Allahabad Bank. These counters have hit a 52-week low in today's day as we speak. Moving on, let's see which are the movers and shakers in trade. In fact, you have a RITES that has surged in trade today, and this is only on the back of emerging as a successful bidder for supplying locomotives to the railway department. Cupid has also surged in trade today on the back of an order win from the government of Tanzania. Glenmark, however, is under pressure, and this is on the back of an earnings reaction post Q3 numbers. You have Vodafone Idea as well that has surged in trade today, and a smart move coming in on that counter. And you have Bharti Airtel, who has gone ahead and deposited almost 10,000 odd crores AGR to the DOT, so that's a stock in focus. LIC Housing Finance, a second consecutive session of decline coming in on this stock. In fact, the shares did drop by almost around 15% in trade. Reddington, however, has risen, and this is mainly as one of its arm has acquired additional 10% stake in Aroma Logistics. So these are a few of the movers and shakers that we are witnessing in afternoon session. Beyond these counters, again, the focus focus will continue to remain as to how the second half of the trading session pans out, because yes, there is that negative bias that has continued, and if there is that weakness that continues with regards to where European markets are concerned, then don't be surprised if Nifty breaks that 12,000 mark, and if we go below that 12,000 mark in terms of Nifty 50, then there is going to be a point of worry. But if you're able to sustain above those 12,000 levels, yes, there is a possibility of a bounce back coming in on trade. So these are few of the pointers that we need to note down in today's session. But clearly, to get more updates during the day, in fact, subscribe to our YouTube channel of Nirmal Bang, as well as you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well, to get daily calls as well as how you should be trading in the commodities market. Thanks for watching.